All righty. We're late. We're sorry. We had some tech problems, or I should say I had some tech problems. I'm going to see if my guests can get on. If you guys turn your cameras on and your mics on, I think you'll pop up. I hope. There we are. Awesome. You guys can turn your mics on, so I can hear you. Sorry, audience. I was on the wrong floor. I was on the wrong floor virtually. Jesus. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Getting Healthy During COVID panel. I'm sorry we were starting and I had this time. I'm like, oh Lord, we done lost 8 minutes, but that's all right. We're still gonna have a good time, and yay, the staff said we're all good. Before we get started, so that we can make sure that our panelists have plenty of time to talk about an incredibly timely and important topic right now. And they were actually the last group that was on here just before us. They were touching on the COVID life a bit, and how should we be required to have a vaccine to get into major events again? Should we not? I mean, there's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so before we get into this discussion about getting healthy, I do want to, I'm going to introduce who I am in just a moment, because everyone's going to introduce who they are. But I want to make sure health is very personal, which is why this topic can get actually quite heated, because health is that thing that's between life and death. That's the only thing, is our health. And therefore, I know that people are very passionate about their opinions when it comes to what we should be doing during this time with our health. But I just want to remind the audience that today we're having a conversation about getting healthy and sustaining your healthiness, and not just your physical. And this is why I wanted to really bring the people I brought today, because these are not traditional MDs here. These are professionals who look at mind, body, and soul. And so as we go through this discussion, I ask all the audience for you to click your brain a little bit, not so much in the mask and washing your hands, which is very important, but I want you to start thinking about your whole self, your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, because that's all a part of your health. Okay. All right. So my name again is Kenya McGuire Johnson. Just so you know who I am really quick and what I do, I'm going to be moderating the panel. If you've been a part of this whole convention, this con, you know that there's various ways to chat. There's a general chat room where you can just be chatting along while we're going. But there's also the Q&A box. So if you have a very specific question you want to ask us or one of the panelists, make sure you put that in there. And the last 10 minutes or so, we'll address that. And if there's anybody that wants to actually join the screen with us, I think there's an ability to be brought on the stage. The Virtuous Con staff will do that, and we can take 1 or 2 or so of those if that happens. So that's the dynamics. My background, just so you have some context, I consider myself a healing practitioner, a healing arts practitioner, because I do both I'm a certified health coach and wellness coach, a formal physical therapist. I do counseling with students who are pre-med, pre-nursing, going to those fields, but I'm also a recording artist, singer-songwriter. So I'm also a creative, like all of y'all probably in the audience. So that's a bit about me. But what I really want to do is make sure we bring our panelists in. So either one of you can go first. If you could just let our audience know who you are, what you do, and just your professional background.
So I'll go first. Thank you, Dr. John. I'm Dr. Vicki Johnson. Thank you so much, Kenya, for the opportunity. I'm so grateful to be here as a part of the VirtueCon. I think is unique, it's creative, and it is definitely a space where I feel at home. I, like Kenya, am multi-passioned, and I like to call myself a multi-passionpreneur. By day, I've been in the entertainment, media, music industry now for over 35 years, had an 18-year career at BET, currently work in the Office of Entertainment in the District of Columbia, where I am on the film team issuing film permits every day. That's what I do by day. By night and the rest of the time, you know, I am a chaplain, a speaker, an author, and my brand and tribe is called Soul Wealth. Soul Wealth, which is vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. And what I do is I support high achieving creative women leaders as they cultivate a space of emotional and mental, physical, energetic, and relational harmony, because all of that is required in order to thrive. So I am here to really address all of the intangible areas of prosperity and wellness, and really look forward to sharing with you today. That's a real quick snapshot of who I am.
Let's just say that. And we have to not be remiss. We are both graduates of HU, Howard University. I say it everywhere now because our vice president, come on now.
Yes.
So that would
graduate of Howard University, and I'm really grateful to be here. And I'll share more of what I do and who I am as we talk. But as you stated, we're a little behind schedule. So Dr. John, share how great you are. Your turn.
No, I'm a chiropractor by trade. I love health and business. Those are two things that make a wonderful, and it's $1 trillion industry. What I'm passionate about, I do is I correct the spine. But what I realize in correcting the spine is that when people have chronic inflammation and are all out of whack, is that we have to address the inside. So I started working with the gut. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is really just addressing metabolic syndrome, is where people have like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, low good cholesterol, or their waist circumference is over a certain amount. And so one of the things that I go after just trying to actually reduce metabolic syndrome and help people just live a healthy lifestyle. And I do that through chiropractic, and I do it through functional medicine. Also, too, one of the other things I'm passionate about is business. I get a lot of questions about how do I start a business? How do I start a business? I haven't worked for anybody in the last 20 years. So I just understand that there's certain things that have to be in place. So I'm the co-founder of a company called Framework 101. And what we do is what I found that most people have not written a serious business plan. They don't have clarity. And so we created this 3C formula that actually gives clarity, confidence, and it actually gives you that clarification, actually communication and community that actually help to be around other entrepreneurs so that you understand what it looks like. I see so many people right now that are working, they're making more money than their parents ever made, but they're just not happy. And they just don't have the freedom and the time, the expertise to do it. So that's one of the things that I'm passionate about. I've opened several businesses. I've sold businesses. I've actually failed in certain businesses, and I've been successful in certain businesses. So, I just look to lend my support.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we've got a panel very eclectic with our backgrounds, both professionally, business-wise, entrepreneurially, obviously health-wise, and that's the lane we're going to stick in. And so I'm going to ask questions to kind of kick us off, to just kind of put in perspective of what you think right now is this topic of getting healthy during COVID. What do you think is the most important thing, if any, but you don't want anybody to leave today? What do you think is one of the most important things they can do in getting healthy right now? And thinking about, and I want the audience again, mind, body, soul, mind, body, soul. Vicki, we can start with you, or either one, or John. That's Dr. John. Either one.
I would say this. I would say number one thing right now for me, from a professional point of view, is to actually use this time to pivot and create a healthy routine. I mean, right now we're not going anywhere near as many places that we used to go. So it gives us a lot of opportunity to actually create a healthy routine, a healthy lifestyle from that perspective. Because to the point what we're doing, and I find people doing, is they're filling up their time with their cell phones. They're filling up their time just sitting and doing mindless stuff that's not really actually helping them to get better. One of the things that I would say is that if you, this time right now and the access that we got information to, you should come out of this 10 times better than when you came in it. You should be at the weight you want to be at. I mean, there's so many opportunities that we're overlooking because we're so consumed with just data and TV and Netflix and binging and food and all this stuff like that. And it's really doing us a disservice. So I would say that healthy routine, number one. And we can talk about that as we go.
Yeah, and I can echo that, Kenya. I started hiking. That's one of the gifts that the pandemic gave to me. I hiked 5 miles this morning before I even came to be a part of, this event this afternoon. And so getting out into nature, you cannot not, right, engage and embrace the power and the healing force of being in nature. I started hiking in March of last year at the beginning of the pandemic, about 8 to 10 miles a week. And through seasons and all of that, I just went and got prepared. Now that we're in winter, I was out there today in the ice, right, in the cold weather, but I was comfortable, but I was moving my body. And as I was moving my body, I was decompressing. Because I pour so much into other people, I needed a space to decompress where I can just think and breathe and be. And to your point, Dr. John, it's an awesome opportunity to start eliminating things from your life that no longer serve you, that no longer support you where you're going. It's a wonderful time to dream again. And being a creative, it is so important to protect your mental and emotional stability and wellness. As a creative, I know we have high highs and very low lows. But if you stay in a space of creation, then you are staying in a position and a posture to constantly heal and eliminate what's not serving you and create capacity, make room for the things that you've always wanted to do. This is the time to execute right now. It's all about execution, getting the vision out of your head onto paper and then execute. It's all about implementation. Why not now?
Right.
And that's what 2020 gave me. Stop delaying, stop procrastinating, because people were here one day and gone the same day. So now is the time to do it.
I love it. I love it. And I love it. And this is why I picked you too, because I knew you would go in that extra layer. And especially speaking to creatives, because that's a part of your health, is being able to be creative. When you're not, you're stagnant, you're blocked. It does all these things that then further detriment your mental health, which then makes you start choosing foods and things that to soothe that, which are typically, that's fine for the weekend with the mac and cheese, but when we're doing it every day and then we're just sitting on the couch and, like Dr. John was just saying, not moving, not getting the activity done. So given what you guys just said, and I think it was very powerful, what advice would you give for the unmotivated person, or the person that's just like, they know in their head that all intellectually feels right, I'm there, but it's not translating to my behavior, it's not translating to my actual activities? Is there anything that you could suggest that could help push that?
They have to make a decision. In every moment, we live at choice. And I'm speaking from experience. I dealt with postpartum depression, Kenya, for 5 years. I don't even remember my daughter as an infant because I could not function. And literally, the more support I got, I found a safe space to talk about it. So therapy is your friend. Yes. Counseling and support is your friend. Find someone that's safe to talk it out, talk it through. What are you feeling? And then begin to make different choices. I also played basketball for 15 years. I actually came to Howard on a basketball scholarship. So the conditioning and the discipline of choosing what is in your highest good is a practice you can start today. It doesn't matter what you were doing yesterday. Start today. Make a different choice and do not what you feel, think. Make a decision and get up and do it even if you don't feel like it. So if I get that down to the bottom line, you got to move, because anything that does not move is stagnant energy. So even if it's just getting up and walking, getting outside in the sun, getting some free vitamin D, just get the energy moving. And as the energy begins to move, you get stronger and you begin to get motivated. And with each step, it starts with the first step. And if you don't know what that is, just think, what am I going to do next? Is that go brush your teeth? Is that go get a cup of water? Is that tune in to VirtueCon and just listen? Just move. Break it down to the simplest thing. that you can do. And sometimes all we can do is the next thing. Right. And that is okay.
Right. Oh, I got a lot of feedback. I'm going to go to Dr. John because you said some stuff there, but go ahead.
You said it right. I mean, I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and what is alarming right now during this time is that suicide rates among African Americans are at an all-time high, and it's actually tripling as of 2020. I'm hearing more suicides, especially from 18 to 24.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's happening right now, because I think we are a people of community, and right now with the isolation and the pandemic, and then with financial uncertainty, so many different avenues that people aren't addressing, that it's imperative that we try to reach out and we try to spend time with ourselves. So I actually didn't know that I suffered from depression until I was sitting on a panel with a psychologist, and she was describing all the symptoms. And I was wondering why I was feeling stuck. And I function, and Kenya knows me and seen me in action. I mean, you would never know, but it's like I just wasn't fulfilled. And there were certain signs there that I was like, man, I had to address. So you gotta be able to recognize it, because it happens to some of the best of us. And sometimes we just continue to function like that, and we never really reach our full potential. We never really get to where we want to be. And that leads to other issues, and that can definitely affect your health. So what I found a thing to do is to approach it like I approach a business. You have to get clear on exactly what you want and why you want it. I deal with people all the day when it talks about health, and I find it's a problem when I care more about their health than they do. So I started to address it from a different perspective and started really asking them why. And I let it know that it's a privilege for them to be able to be here right now, but I'm not going to accept you if you're not willing to commit and go to that next level and actually give me a good enough reason on why I should work with you. Because I've been doing this so long, and I don't have to accept people because I have to accept people. I accept people now because I want to work with them, and I want them to be responsible for their own health. And so when they accept that responsibility, they say, well, you know what? I almost have to get them to the point where they have to say, I don't want to be like this anymore. And I've learned to do that with just communication and asking the right questions. And so I would say that you have to literally take this time. And literally, I'm famous for this. I'll go and I'll get a hotel room for a weekend by myself, away from my family. And I'll just think. And I'll be like, man, is this what I'm supposed to do right now? And I just have to really play out different moves in my head. And I think that people have to get clarity on their life and what they want. And they got to understand why and how bad they want it. Because it really sounds good for like a month. And people say, man, I'm going to lose 25 pounds. You know, the first week they're working out 5 times a week. Then the second week is 3 times. The third week they were like, man, I'm just too big. And then by the end of the month, they're not even working out at all. So They haven't really established a clear why on why they want to do it. And it has to be something that kind of gets you uncomfortable, you know, and it drives you. One of the things that I look at when you look at really high successful people in health, business, and all this, they're driven on a whole nother level. So they can get to that result just right there. One of the reasons why is that their mind is there. Like their physical body or their physical situation financial might not be there right now, but their mind is already there. So if they lose $1 million, they can get it right back. If they gain weight and fall off, they can get it right back in 2 weeks. You know, with us, we're like getting stuck, and we're so concentrated on where we are now that we don't take that time to actually think about the future and think about planning that. So one of the things that we implement too, and I work with people on, is I be like, think about what's your health going to be like? And me and Kenya had this conversation talking this. What's it going to be like when you're 70? You know, what kind of energy levels? How do you want to move? What's 90 look like for you? What's 100 look like if you want to get to that? You know, what do you want to be able to take care of yourself? You know, you don't want to be sitting around incapacitated, waiting on people to do just daily activities for you. So you have to plan for that now. You have to actually start putting stuff into place to actually get that out of change. Before the pandemic, I used to tell people, go to a nursing home. If that don't scare you, go to a hospital. You ever see it? Go walk through a cancer floor. If that don't scare you into getting right, I'm talking to the wrong person. I'm not going to waste my breath or time even putting more energy into trying to get you to see it now. So I mean, you got to get your why together first, and then you got to get clear on what you want.
And Kenya, can I just say just really quickly that to those of you who are listening, your gift is your medicine, right? Your gift is your medicine. Yeah. Your gift will help you clarify your why. Your gift is your medicine. It is the thing that heals you, because the more you are operating in your gift with which you have grace for, then the more passionate you become, the more creative you become. Then you can monetize your creativity. Now you're getting up every day because you're running to the thing that you were born to do. So your gift is your creativity. You do not have to live at the mercy of what you think you should be doing. What were you born to do? And as Dr. John said, when you get that clarity, that wellness comes with that.
Okay, so now she's trying to make me like shout. You know, I'm like, what's going on now? No, that's, yes. Gift, say that again. Your gift is your medicine.
Your gift is your medicine.
And to that, no, that's a very powerful, I've heard you say a lot of stuff, but I don't think I've heard you say that. And I think that this whole time has been shut down just for you to pivot to and lean into the gift.
Yep.
And so I ask people, please don't get so caught up on what you're watching on TV and what you're seeing on social media and the news, because it takes you away from paying attention to yourself. It takes away a lot of your discernment efforts, which is really, really important when it comes to health, is being able to discern what is for you, you might hear this, but what is for you. So I think that's so huge when you understand that this is bigger than just this, what we're seeing on the external. It's about what's happening deep inside. And so getting healthy means you turning into you. It means it has to be, in my opinion, incredibly holistic.
And looking for the opportunities and not the obstacles, right?
Yes.
That's one of the things I always come from the place. The way the body heals from above down, inside out. We're looking outside to heal something from within. So
love that.
Look for weight loss and look for all the stuff. They're looking outside, and one of the things we have to look within here. That's where the answers are. For everything you need, you have everything you need.
It's totally Wizard of Oz. I tell people all the time, your life is, Dorothy had those red shoes the entire movie. She had the storm, right? The storm came, house landed, they put the shoes on her. And it was the shoes that she had the whole time that got her home. All she had to do was believe in that, click her heels, and she was home. So I always tell people, you can meet the scarecrow, you can meet the Tin Man, and that's important because that's a part of our socialization, to connect with others. But the home, where was God? None of them could bring her home. The thing that brought her home was her believing in herself and using her own skills and resources. So I really thank you guys for that. All right, so the next question. This gets a little dicier. I was in Clubhouse yesterday. Lord, Clubhouse is new. But I was in Clubhouse and there was a huge argument about the vaccine. It was a room talking about the vaccine, and my goodness, I mean, people were being very insensitive. I mean, but again, health is that thing. It's that thing. So I want to move on to ask about the vaccine. I want to remind the audience, none of us are MDs up here. None of us are immunologists up here, who are the people who really, manage vaccine and can really talk about it. But I know that this is a very important subject right now. The one thing, I'm going to ask my question in a minute, but the one thing I want to that I do know about the vaccine from being a healthcare professional is that understand vaccines in general, what they do is protect you from getting sick from the virus, okay? It doesn't stop the virus from coming in you, all right? So getting the vaccine doesn't make COVID say, I'm not gonna go inside. No, that's not what happens. What happens is when COVID does, or if it does come in, the vaccine helps you from not getting sick. It creates a mechanism so your immune system knows what to do, and you never even feel, you don't feel anything, okay? But it doesn't stop the virus from being in you, which means that's why you have to still wear the mask and everything afterwards, because you can still transfer it. You just won't get sick from it. So that is one thing that I want to make clear. If you have other questions, medical specific questions about the vaccine, you can try to put it in a Q&A. I don't know if we'll be able to answer it, but I do want to, I think that there's a big misunderstanding, because I hear a lot of people saying, well, I don't want grandma to get sick, so I'm gonna get the vaccine. And it's like, no, that's not gonna protect grandma. The only way grandma will be protected in terms of vaccine life is if she takes the vaccine. Because if you take the vaccine, you protect you. If she takes it, she protects her. So just want to make that clear. All right. With that, then, what are your thoughts?
Dr. John.
I go back to history. I'm gonna just take my I'm not for vaccines. I mean, just my point of view. I believe in the body's ability to heal itself. Yep. Now, however, we are in a pandemic, and then just based off our history, it's Black History Month with the government and trusting them with vaccines. I don't think we're there yet. I think it's something that's been rushed. I think that it needs a little bit more detail to it, and we just don't know the outcome. I honestly would almost equate it. It's going to help lower the chances, because I don't want people to get the vaccine and still think that they're invincible from getting it. And that's what I'm hearing a lot of people saying. They don't really truly understand. They understand that I'm going to get it because it's going to reduce my chances. Yes. But unless everybody gets it, it's not going to really, it's going to be effective. We still have to use the cautionary discernment by washing our hands, just simple sanitary things to keep ourselves safe. But one of the ways I think you can do it too is you have to learn how to reduce your stress levels too. And that's not even, because I've seen elite athletes get it and not be able to function the same. And then they got the thing where they got the long haulers that are, people that will never play professional sports again because getting it. It's one of those things that you have to decide as a person, that are you willing to take that chance? As far as, looking at typical vaccinations back in the day, going back to the Tuskegee experiment, even up to now, the question even came with, is autism related to vaccines, with kids getting, just the MMRs and all those different things. I just believe in innate intelligence. I believe in a universal intelligence in the body, the way we were created. And I think that if we do the necessary things to do it, however, I do think that with this new administration, it's almost going to be mandatory for you to actually move around the country and in and out of the country. So it might be a possibility where we might be forced to take it. By that time, I'm hoping that there would have been a lot more research done. We kind of figured out some details on it. And you fit my comfort level is a little bit more, comfortable with taking it. So if it comes to that case, I will do it. But, just like going into, I travel Africa, you don't have to have shots to go in Africa. The only shot you have to have is yellow fever. And a lot of people don't really understand that. But so if you don't have that because it is a pandemic, or if you go to countries like where they still have polio, and they still have all these other diseases. I've been in Dominican, I've been in Haiti, people still have polio. Like, that's something that you can die from. That can mess you up. So it just depends on the situation at that time. Mm. And the thing, and I think COVID is real. So I'm not going to say think COVID is not real. I think people are suffering from it, but it's too much unknown for me to actually consider that.
Thank you. And again, I want to remind the audience, because I know that there are people who are very pro-vaccine and very pro this COVID vaccine, and none of this is to suggest that you don't. This question I asked them was their personal kind of opinion on it. And I think it's important, though, to hear, again, why people, because I think on the news sometimes, or in the main public, they just think, oh, you're not doing it because you think it's a conspiracy, or, oh, you're not doing it because, whatever. And, I think there's a lot of validity. I mean, this is our health. So, everybody has their own right to pick what it is they would do and what they wouldn't do. So I just want to remind the audience that we're not saying to go do this or to not go do this. Okay. This is just kind of a personal opinion. So Dr. Vicki, what are your thoughts personally about the vaccine?
What Dr. John said. Literally, seriously. I don't take the flu shot. I don't do any of that. My focus has been strengthening my immune system. I'm a living kidney donor. Let me go here. I am a living kidney donor. I have one kidney. Okay. So for me, the onus is on me. My healing is my responsibility. My health is my responsibility. So your girl, I haven't been anywhere since last year. I have been uber strict about mask wearing, washing my hands, wiping down surfaces. Like, I'm that girl. I was OCD before COVID. I was like that before COVID. I was also I'm an introvert. So being in the house doesn't bother me, right? So in terms of the vaccine and your question, I'm leaning more toward not taking it because I don't really believe in them either now that I have more information. And I do believe in the body's ability to heal itself when you give the body what it needs to heal, which is why we should focus more on strengthening our immune system. Dr. John said it earlier, getting healthy, losing weight, eliminating foods that don't work for you, shifting generational comorbidities. Well, my family, all of them have heart problems, high blood pressure, diabetes. You can shift that. I believe that we can heal ourselves of anything when we give the body what it needs to heal: spirit, soul, body, which is emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically, and relationally. Sometimes we're sick, not because we're sick because we're carrying other people's stuff, right? So just really putting on racehorse blinders and focusing on getting as healthy as you can. I have family members who've already taken the vaccine. They're seniors, right? So if that's going to give them peace, I want them to have peace. But for me, my name hasn't come up yet anyway. I'm in a category that hasn't been considered. Like Dr. John said, I'm hoping that by then there's more research, there's more information, and then I'll make an informed decision at that time. But what I'm not going to do is be so consumed by it that it's my every waking thought. Like, I'm not going to worry about it in advance. I'm going to keep doing the things that I've been doing to stay healthy since this even started last year.
Thank you both for that. I really think this is important. I hope the audience really picks up on this. And I said this earlier about discernment and really deciding things for yourself. I personally, I'm with both of you on that in a lot of ways. My mother is 81. I do believe her being 81 with having a cardiac history. I told her, I think you need to do it, because I think if you get it, I can't say that you would survive it, even though she works very hard on her health. She walks, she's another mover. That's where I learned my health regimen is my mom. She carries cherry tomatoes with her on a flight. I'm like, how you got cherry tomatoes? I mean, she's that woman. She's very health conscious, but I also know she's 81. And to be honest about it, her immune system at this level, we don't know exactly where it's at. I think it's fairly strong. She doesn't get sick, but she did get it. And I said, if that's what's going to make you feel better, she wants to see her grandchildren, she wants to travel, I said, that's fine. For myself personally, I'm pretty much with you both. I don't feel like I'm in a space where I feel completely comfortable yet, ethically more than anything, on a lot of what's happening in government and so forth. But yeah, I think that I do, though, want people to understand, go study and make sure you're clear about not just the vaccine, but about your immune system. What is that? What does that mean? Because I think what you guys are both saying, and you're driving this home, is the body works for you. That's why we have an immune system. It's constantly working for you. It's doing everything to work for you. So when you're sitting up and you're like, oh, I'm tired, let me go get some caffeine. I was just telling a friend this last night. Or maybe, let me go get some caffeine. I got to stay up. That's your body saying, go to sleep. I'm tired. It's trying to tell you. And what we do so quickly is we ignore. We have been so conditioned to disconnect from our body and our mind talking to us, because it's talking to us all day long. It's now screaming at us. It's screaming at us. And it's inflamed, it's doing all these things. And we still go and say, well, let me go get the caffeine. Let me go get the this, let me go get the that. I ask of you guys to begin, study health and your body and the immune system first, so you have an informed, a better understanding of what's happening and what a vaccine is about. Don't just go run to the next thing. I'm not saying that we can't chew gum and walk too, because I do think that, it depends on the situation. But just, I think we're putting way too much emphasis on, like we've been saying, putting on the mask is important. Washing your hands is very important. You have to do these things. But guess what? If you're eating Cheetos all day and you don't ever go visit the produce section, and you don't ever sit down and get still and rest, I promise you, I know many people who've been very diligent about the mask and washing hands and got COVID and got sick from it. You may have been exposed to COVID, Vicki, but if your immune system is intact and it's doing what it's supposed to do, it may have left you symptomless. It may have taken care of what it needed to take care of. That's how unique, that's what it does. So I'm not trying to suggest anybody just go out and be free and let it, no, but understand the body is constantly working in your favor. So, all right. So we've got 8 minutes left. Let me see if we have any questions. I don't think I saw any questions. If anybody has any questions that they, I think I'm working this right, that they want, if we have Dominique, if we have somebody on that wants to ask a question live, I think we can bring them in.
And while you're waiting for that question, I just want to say that, we have to take personal responsibility for our health. When I was at BET, I oversaw the Wrap It Up campaign, which was the HIV/AIDS campaign, when that was a pandemic and impacting disproportionately Black and Brown people, right? And so I just want to encourage the audience, you have to take personal responsibility for your own health. You have to learn how to advocate for yourself. And we also have to give one another the liberty to have a different opinion, right? I am not projecting what I think on anybody else because I'm only responsible for me. And so I just want to encourage everyone, to do your research, ask questions, stay curious, and be an advocate for yourself. Be a partner in your wellness, in your healthcare, and not really defer responsibility, which doesn't absolve you of responsibility, but you have to take ownership of your own well-being, especially as an adult. So while you're waiting for questions, I just want to put that out there because I don't argue with people. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. Whatever you think, you're right. Like Dr. John said, if you come to me, you have to be willing, right, to be open. But if you're looking for a conversation and more information to make an informed choice, that's one thing. If you're looking for an argument, I'm not your girl because that invades my peace, right? And I choose not to get into arguments with people who are closed off, who are not open to another way. So I just want to say that, and I want to establish that, because you did ask us our personal opinion, which we're entitled to have, but I'm not going to debate back and forth. Like, I would have left that room on Clubhouse yesterday, right? Because I'm like, let me go find something that's going to add value, add time.
I did.
Strengthen my heartbeats, right?
Yes.
Strengthen my heartbeats to prolong my life and my well-being. So I just want to put that out there.
I think that's really important. I did leave the Clubhouse chat room because stress and how the body responds to stress, it further suppresses your immune system. And we are in a lot of people, what I have found in this pandemic that has really shocked me is how little we understand about basic science and basic function and nutrition and health. Like, we really don't know that in this, I think, collectively as a country. I mean, I went to school and studied it. You're an athlete, Vicki, so you got to know your body in a whole nother special way. Obviously, Dr. Artis is, a chiropractor. But I think that we've done such a poor job of educating our people, our children, our youth, our young adults, of how the body actually works. All the little physical ed classes we took and kickball and all that, that's great. But I think that we haven't really understood how the body works. The panel is about to end. I got the little cue. I was like, wow. But I don't think we had any. I don't think we had any specific questions. I don't think anybody's been asked to come on the stage. If somebody wants to drop in a question real quick, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But I did want to ask, sharing resources, one, to how people can follow you guys, so that if you are active on social media, if they want to talk to you more one-on-one. I will say for myself, Kenya MJ Music at Kenya MJ Music is on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Clubhouse, all of that. Kenya McGuire Johnson is my full name. Also, my website is kenyamjmusic.com. And I actually do have an ebook called Boosting Your Immune System. It goes into depth, because this is something I'm very passionate about. It goes into depth about the foods you should be eating, about the activities you should be doing, what exactly your immune system does do for you and cannot do for you when you don't. So I think we have a question before I let you guys say. Let me see here in our last 3 minutes, and I'll let you make sure you say your social media. Question from Sequoia. Do you see the narrative changing that working with stress isn't a badge of honor anymore? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Anything we didn't learn in 2020 that we understand that working with stress and how it affects our body.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the number one causes of why people get sick is chronic stress. I mean, acute stress is one thing. And the reason for that being, I want to say this, it's called autonomic pairing. We got 2 nervous systems. You got to learn to live in the other one a little bit more. We live in that sympathetic dominant nervous system where it's like the lion in the room and we got to go. And we don't take the time to learn in that parasympathetic one where it's rest, repair, and digest. That's where your body heals from the stress that you do from every other day. And that can age people really quick. That can bring your immune system down. That can make you sick. And so taking time to meditate, just to think, exercise, move, put the right things in your body, and then allow your body to digest it and put it in, because that causes a lot of gut problems. That causes a lot of other issues that people look at. That's a whole conversation.
That's a class. And so I know we're going to get kicked off. Let me see. I think we have another question here. Oh, man. Yes, I'm going to put the link for the ebook. I'm going to put that in the chat now. If you go to kenyamjmusic.com/store, and I'll type that in. While I type that, tell your social media. How can people follow you and find you?
I am on all social media at All Things Vicky, and that's VIKKI. My website is vickyjohnson.com.
I am also Dr. John Artis, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. My website is healthonearth.org or drjohnartis.com. All
right. Let me type that in. Hold on. It's drvickyjohnson.com, right?
No, Vicky Johnson.
Just Vicky. I can't believe nobody has that. All right. And then what was yours, John, again?
drjohnartis.com.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And our audience is saying thank you. This was such an affirming.
Thank you all for being in the room with us today.
We need more time. We really got to, there's a lot of effort.
Yeah, this is really important stuff. And we have in our 1 minute, is there any last comment you guys want to make in our 1 minute?
Do one thing to support your health that you have not been doing prior to this conversation.
Oh, you know what? I think I got one more question, guys. I'm sorry. Some might think you are against taking the COVID vaccine. Can you clarify your position? I personally am waiting. I am not against the vaccine personally. Professionally, I think if you are a healthcare worker, if you are a frontline worker, if you are over the age of 65, I do think that I professionally think that you absolutely should consider it. That's my opinion. Personally, where I'm at in my life, I've decided that I'm going to wait a moment, but that ultimately, if I find that it is safe, I'm okay with it. Real quick. Do you think that, can you clarify, you think are you against the vaccine or just personally wouldn't do it?
I'm neutral right now for me.
Gotcha.
I think everyone else has to make that decision for themselves.
Yes. So I don't think anybody is saying we're against it.
Right.
I think, it's not against it.
I'm not. Like I said, both my parents have taken it. You know, I have elderly family members who've taken it. Am I screaming that they took it? No. If it gives them peace, I want them to do it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, guys. You were awesome. Thank you, Virtuous Con. Really,
thank you, Virtuous Con. This is awesome. This was so amazing. And thank you, Dominique, for helping us non-tech people get in the room.
I was just on the wrong floor. All right. I think she's going to wipe us out. So thank you, guys. Okay. Make sure you follow us and we can answer more questions on social media.
Peace, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm not sure how we get out.